guys, welcome back to another review. Today we have the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro headphones. The DT770 Pros are basically a closed-back dynamic headphone. They're aimed for very critical listening, high-quality studio use, as in mixing, producing, and because they're closed-back headphones, they're also potentially usable for recording vocals. Now I want to point out, why did I mention closed back? Well, you have closed back and open back headphones out there in the market. Basically, the advantage of having an open back headphone is the fact that bass response is better. You don't have a wall behind for the bass wave to keep hitting against, so the open back allows the bass to get produced in a better quality, so you can potentially hear lower frequency waves. Now, problem with open back headphones is that when you're recording vocals or instruments and you're using the headphones to monitor, you're going to have a lot of sound leak, meaning the microphone that you're recording with will be picking up what's coming out of the headphones along with what you're recording. So that's obviously an issue and you can't allow that. So this is why closed back headphones are made. That way when you put them on your head, you're completely disallowing any kind of sound waves or volumes to come out of the headphones and to get recorded through the microphone. Of course, a little bit of sound leak is always going to be there, and you can't avoid that because it's just the way things are. But it's definitely something you want to look out for if you're going to be recording vocals. The question is, how much sound will be leaked from these headphones, and how much sound and noise do these headphones take away when you put them on? That's two things to look at if you're looking for recording in the studio use. As you can see in the box, these are 80 ohm headphones. Now, they're basically all categorized, and Beyerdynamic at least does this. They categorize their headphones from different kind of resistances. You know, you have your 250 ohms, and it ranges, from 82 up. Basically, what does 80 ohm mean to you? Well, it means that there's this amount of resistance between the audio going into the headphones, through the headphones, and into your ears. That resistance is measured in ohms. The more ohms, the more resistance, thus the quieter the sound that's going out of the headphones and into your ears. So if I'm comparing, for instance, these 770 Pros to KRK 8400s, they're going to be quieter. Say you have an iPhone and you're listening to an identical song. If you plug these in, and then you plug a different headphone in with less ohm resistance, the other ones with less resistance will be louder when you'll have the volume all the way up. So, again, another thing to look at. At the same time, the 80 ohm resistance is not a deal breaker, it's just a specification. As I turn this box around, we can see all the specifications that I've been going over. And basically, what's next is the frequency range. The frequency range ranges from 5 Hz all the way up to 35,000 Hz. Now, on paper, that's amazing. I mean, it's crazy. But, however, in real life, it's arguable that humans cannot hear below roughly 20 Hz, and hearing anything above 20,000 Hz in a song would probably be essentially useless. So, it's probably safe to say that Beyerdynamic have that whole frequency range thing covered, in theory. Furthermore, the weight of these headphones, it is roughly half a pound. Basically, half a pound for a headphone is a decent amount of weight. In your hands, they will feel slightly bulky, but when you put them on your head, they do a very good job of distributing the weight over the top arc, padding, and the sides of your head. So weight is definitely not an issue when it comes to these headphones. They're very comfortable. Next, you probably noticed already, is the ear cups on these headphones are massive. It's kind of cheesy looking in my opinion because I'm used to my KRKs, but they're very comfortable, and for most people, the ear cup will sit over your ear and around your ear, not like compressing on your ear itself. In fact, I should probably correct myself and say it's around the ear cup. I have quite bigger ears, so when I wear these headphones, it's still somewhat, the backside pushes on the backside of my ear, but it does not create any kind of discomfort, and I've tested these headphones from 5-minute use to 3-hour use, even more. And at any point in time, I did not experience any kind of discomfort, whether it was on top of the head or in the ears. Two more technical aspects I want to cover before we go on to the sound review itself. First of all, you have a 3-meter long cable, which is quite sturdy. It's quite big, so it's definitely not something that I'm worried about getting broken or getting ruined if I accidentally run it over with my chair, which happens all the time. And again, 3 meters long of a cable is plenty for studio use, in the most part. Another thing I want to point out before we head over to the next part of the review is the fact that they do not offer pivoting. What I mean by pivoting is this. Here are my KRK 8400s. The headphone pivots 90 degrees, like so, and it swivels 180 degrees back. Basically, if I want to, instead of putting the headphones on, what I can do is just pick them up and do something like that. Also, when I lay them on a table, all I have to do is just flip them like so, and there you go. Very comfortable and very convenient. The Beyerdynamic, however, do not offer that. The only thing you're going to be getting is roughly 60-degree movement here, which is enough, and slight leeway when you're kind of putting them on, and this kind of allows it to give a little bit of playroom so that nothing gets damaged while you're putting them on. So it's definitely a downside to these headphones, especially if you're the kind of guy like me. When I'm constantly going between my monitors and between my headphones, I'm always picking them up, putting them on, picking them up, putting them back. And when they don't pivot, when I put them on, they're always sitting sideways, so it takes more room and it's a little bit more inconvenient. But again, probably not a deal breaker, because the quality of these headphones supersedes the fact that it lacks pivoting. Now, earlier I mentioned that the frequency range of these headphones goes from 5 to 35,000 hertz. Like I mentioned, that's on paper, and in real life you probably don't need that wide of a range. What I experienced from these headphones is they're really pleasant to listen to music with. If I'm just, if I'm doing some kind of homework or just finishing something on the computer and I want to listen to music with the headphones, these are really nice. Now the question is, are you looking for headphones that sound good, or are you looking for headphones that sound real? What I mean by real is the sound that you're hearing from the headphones is exactly the truth when it comes to mixing. Usually, real sounding headphones have a neutral frequency range, meaning they don't colorize the bass, they don't colorize the treble, nor do they colorize the mids. When it comes to the 770s, I feel like the mids, and I mean anything from 500 to probably 3300 hertz, I feel like the mids are slightly less, and therefore when I'm listening to loud music, it's not so cutting edge into my ear. It's still pleasant to listen to. The bass is still there and the high ends are still clear and crisp, but the mids aren't cutting to my ears as much. So if you are buying these headphones to mix music, so you're going to be using in a studio as a reference, then I still agree with the fact that it's a great product. Now, whether you want to master your music with these headphones or not, that's definitely going to be up to you, but I would highly recommend, either way, I would recommend using studio monitors for such work. Even for certain parts of mixing, I'd say leave 75% of your mixing to your studio monitors, and if you need to, in certain cases, if you need to be quiet or you just need to reference, then yes, please go ahead and use the headphones. Because it's kind of nice when you're mixing music to hear the music from something else, which is referred to as referencing, because it gives you an idea of what your work will sound like on a different platform. So jumping between my KRKs and my KRK headphones and the Beyerdynamics is a really good idea for me. It really gives me more options and it gives me an idea of what my product will sound like later on. Now I'm going to go ahead and conclude this review by saying that, first of all, if you're watching this, you probably already know plenty about the headphones, because perhaps you're in the decision-making process, or you're just looking for a studio headphone, or maybe you're just looking for headphones to listen to music on, and you have the money to afford something more than just the cheap sets of Sonys from Walmart. First of all, these run at about $220. Of course, online you can probably get them for something like $180. But basically the price range is from $180 to about $250. So it's definitely a decently priced headphone. So definitely something to look at when you're considering these headphones. Are they worth the $220, or should I get something for perhaps $180 and get the same kind of pleasure and performance from them? Again, it all depends on what you're going to use them for. If you need critical mixing reference monitors, then these are great. Definitely take your time when you're buying headphones. Don't buy headphones just because of a brand. You know, if you hear that Dre Beats are amazing and everybody wears them, that's not a reason why you buy a product. You buy a product because it's good. And I'm not trying to step on Beats or anything, but am I willing to pay $100 for the name brand? No, I'm not. I want to pay for the quality. And if the quality is costing me $150, and on top of that I have to pay another $100 for the brand name, no thank you. I'd rather go buy something that's made in Germany, and the price, dollar for dollar, stands for the quality of the headphones.